on Wednesday for that Chivas game. We went 2 out of 3. Chivas money line was the only thing that just didn't hit, but we had a draw in the first half. We were on the under in the game. Game ended up being 0-0. Hopefully you guys were able to tail at least one of those, at least one of the good ones. But we're going to move on to Friday's card. Four-game card. Pretty decent card for being, a Friday night, just to get the weekend started. I just basically found something that it's nothing really jumped out to me, but I like them enough to give them to you guys. Except for this one. Cruz Azul Juarez, don't tail me. This is purely out of spite for Cruz Azul. They screwed me on that Pachuca game. I don't know. This team to me is just not playing as good as their record shows it. I think they're going to fall off. I think they're going to completely choke in the playoffs, eliminated in the first round type of thing. So this is purely out of spite for Cruz Azul. Juarez draw on the double chance on the first half. Juarez draw in the first half, full game. Plus 169 is what I'm getting out of it. I don't think they beat Pachuca very, very convincingly. I think this Cruz Azul team is total frauds. And I think they're going to start falling down within the next couple weeks, and going into the playoffs, I think they get eliminated first round. I think they're frauds. These bets is purely out of spite. Game on the board. Necaxa at home, Puebla coming in. Puebla's just been playing like trash, guys. Necaxa has about 6 games in a row that they have not won, which is majority of this season. They started the season kind of hot, and then they just fell off, can barely get draws. Now they have a weak opponent in Puebla. I can't go any other direction, guys, besides Necaxa. I want to try and, be sharp and get cute and probably tell you that Puebla wins, but they're at the bottom of the table for a reason. Necaxa close, but they're definitely better. Talent for talent, roster for roster, better than Puebla. So as much as it seems maybe like a trap, it's minus 138. It's not the worst, but even then, I still think that's too much juice for Necaxa. But, these do win. These type of favorites have won, especially if Necaxa's been on a downfall and you're trying to catch a falling knife. Sometimes you're just not going to get paid for catching a falling knife. I've seen that plenty of times here. So no other direction other than the Necaxa money line, really. Sorry I don't have anything else for you guys, but this is just an ugly game. Finally move on to a match I do like. Atlas on the road in Mazatlan. A lot of picks I like here. Both of these teams have been on a consistent downtrend. They managed to surprise you with a couple draws that they get. Literally, these guys have the same record. The only difference, same exact record, same exact amount of points. The only difference is that Atlas has been the one receiving more goals. So in the goal difference, surprisingly enough, Mazatlan is better. Mazatlan, I guess, has been better defensively pretty much. But yeah, Atlas in a lot of high-scoring games, whether they're getting scored on, scoring, or both teams are scoring. So the most obvious play here, guys, is going to be the both teams to score. It's minus 150. It's a little ugly. But I'd be more shocked if both of these teams don't score. Both of these teams have shown that they can give goals up. Probably Mazatlan less at home. But after what Pumas just did to Mazatlan, that's pretty much gone. So even at home, they can get scored on. Because I would have been okay with it if Pumas had walked away with that one, maybe 2-1. But 4-1 is just a little too much for me. It's like, okay, they're at a weak spot. I think this is more of a 50-50 game, guys. And whenever there is a 50-50 game, just take the team with the better dog. Now, if you want to say, hey, Lalo, you're just picking your team right here. Yeah, but my team is also paying out a little bit more, and they're possibly just as bad as Mazatlan. So if it's a 50-50 game, and that goes with any sport, guys, just to throw a little bit of advice out there. If something's a 50-50 game, I don't care if it's NBA, NHL, NFL, NBA, MLB, baseball, whatever it may be. If you got two teams that you think are about 50-50, just take the one with the more plus money. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Even with the possibility of a draw, because both of these teams have been able to draw, I think there's just going to be a winner here. But I don't think there's any wrong side in this game. I think it could go either way, one way or the other. Being that these two teams like to score, over 2.5, another easy one as well. But it's not juiced heavy, so I think that's maybe a little bit telling. Probably the goals don't come in till late, and then that's what draws me in over to having a tie in the first half. So draw first half. I like the over, both teams to score. This game I think is 50-50 as well, and I'm just gonna lean towards Atlas, being that I'm gonna get more plus money with a game that I think is pretty much 50-50. Last game on the board, we're up in Tijuana. León coming in. This one should be a fun one, guys. It should be a fun one. These two teams, they're capable of giving us a total barn burner. So Tijuana is definitely up on the table, and if there's a little trend I've noticed with León, and you can kind of say the same for Tijuana, is these teams only lose against teams that they're supposed to lose to. That goes for both León and Tijuana. Probably León a little bit more, because León has no problem beating teams that are at their level and below them. Tijuana, pretty much the same thing, and then some of the more above teams, some of the teams that are just a little bit more skilled, even then they give them a good fight. León just cannot beat the teams that are pretty much better than them. So according to the standings and according to on paper, Tijuana is ahead of León, but just not by much. Tijuana, we could say, is just a little bit better than León. So it's going to be interesting the way this turns out. We're going to see if, León has that dog in them. So for me personally, I'm taking León on the money line. I like this play a lot. I think this was probably my favorite one of the board. I think this is the one I consider to be the most sharp, because León has beaten every team that is at their level, if not below them. It's just the teams above them that they have been losing to. And Tijuana, I don't consider them, elite just yet. They're ranked number 6 on the table, so they're pretty up there. This is clearly a playoff team, Tijuana. But we're gonna see. Hey, you better blow this León team out of the water. If you're gonna be elite of the elite, if you want to be talked about with America, with Cruz Azul, with Toluca, with Monterrey, you want to be talked in the same category with those teams. These are the games you got to be winning pretty easily. We're going to see if that's going to happen. I'm not paying -102 for that. Do I think Tijuana is better? I think they are. But I think we're getting just a little too much plus money with León, who I think can compete. Like I said, they've been losing to teams they should be losing to. Hey, the big question is Tijuana going to be one of them? This is why this one's my favorite game of the night, of Friday night. But I also think we're going to have a draw in the first half. Again, another one where I think goals come late, and that's pretty common when you see games in Tijuana. Games are pretty late in the second half. Sometimes they're you get goals the whole game, but during the second half it's going to be fireworks. So I think this game gets off to a slow start. Draw in the first half. I think León has something more to prove. I'm okay with paying or getting plus 235 to find out. Over 3, I also think this is going to be a high-scoring, exciting firework type of game. So both these teams very capable of blowing out the other team. If anything, I think we're going to at least get 3 goals, whether it's a 2-1 or a 3-0 kind of thing. So I'm willing to take my chances and get the over, at the very least get a push. So that's it for Friday's card. Let me know which game you guys think, or which one are you going to be paying attention to the most on Friday night.